Welcome everyone to another Star Wars Limited discussion where we have some more revealed cards for A Lawless Time to discuss. Right now in YouTube, a video is pinging for you all where we discuss all of the cards right here. So we already did a full discussion on those cards, what I thought about them, how I feel they go into the Premier format, how they go into the Eternal format, and all of that. So you guys can go watch that for all of my thoughts. But in that first video, we got a lot of legendaries revealed, like Maul, Rey, Ben, Luke, Han, Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker. We also got two new leaders in Agent Callus and then Hera, where we felt that Agent Callus is the best leader, especially someone pointed out for draft, because thanks to his fact that he can ignore aspect penalties on absolutely every card in the game, in draft, he's going to be the best leader to draft, even in sealed, whether you're pre-releases or draft, to utilize, because then you can just build straight from everything. There's no restriction to how you want to build. You can easily take a secondary color for wherever you want, but then most of your stuff you can just grab and play with him. And we have some really good cards. Like I said, we have one of our new rare bases that no longer take the rare slot. Not a great one, but okay. So we had some interesting first reveals, but then we got a whole bunch more reveals that we now need to discuss. So let's start off with another new leader in Lando Calrissian. Lando states on his front side, action, pay one, tap him, choose an aspect, then discard a card from your deck that has a chosen aspect, credit token. When deployed, you may defeat a friendly credit token. If you do, create 3 credit tokens. As a reminder, credit tokens, you can defeat them to reduce the play cost of a card you're attempting to play. So, it's an interesting card. He is a rare leader as well, but is he good? I mean, he is a self-mill strategy leader where you can self-mill your cards out of your deck and then gain credit tokens. That way, then you can play more things, higher cost things out from your hand by burning those credit tokens. He has a pretty interesting flip effect where you can defeat a friendly credit token to create 3 credit tokens. So if you have 3 credit tokens already on the board, you can defeat one of them to then make 5 credit tokens. So you'll be at 5 credit tokens, and then you could drop on there. You could then use that to drop a 7 cost unit for cheap, or an 8 cost unit for cheap, because he flips on 6. So you can easily do that. Is it great that you have to self-mill to create a bunch of credit tokens, and you have to self-mill to an aspect that you share with a guy on your board? I don't know. Maybe we need to see more cards that really play around with your graveyard area, that are able to play themselves out of the graveyard, able to do something if they go into the graveyard from the deck, because I think that would really help this Lando leader really feel good, because otherwise he just doesn't feel good overall. Because what's my purpose of just sending my cards? I guess I'm deck thinning to find the stuff I want, but still I want to see some cards maybe that do stuff when they go into the discard pile and then are able to do something there. I think that would be really neat. Nonetheless, I think his effect isn't too bad. I mean, flipping for 6, having 3 credit tokens, going up to 5, and then being able to burn all 5 so you can drop a big unit on the board state. Just be mindful, I guess, whatever secondary color you play into him, because the only yellow big unit we'll have is home 1 from jump to light speed. So that's not exactly great. But I guess in some aspects you could do some other things. But nonetheless, I think he's a neat leader for what he does. Do I think he's a good leader? No. But he's a neat leader. And I think that's really what we're going to see. I think the only good leader I have so far seen that I'm really excited about is Agent Callus. And that's really about it. Everyone else has felt like meh. That's pretty cool, but I don't know how good it would be. It's definitely going to, because again, you have Jump to Light Speed, we have LOF, we have Secrets of Power, and then we'll have this set. So we still have 3 sets of older leaders from JTL, LOF, and SEC, the SEC, that all can basically still be played, that are still all pretty good. I mean, the JTL leaders, in my opinion, are going to be very meta relevant in the coming formats. So I do expect to see a lot of JTL leaders being played. I do also expect Agent Callus so far to be the only leader I see being played out of this set so far. I'm not saying people won't try to tinker with Lando or Hera. But yeah, nonetheless, not too impressed. Cool, but not impressed. We got a Finn for 666 with Ambush, and then on attack you may give a show token to a non-unique unit. just kind of a nice way to give a shield token to something that's not unique. You can't give it to himself as well, but still a pretty cool card nonetheless. Just a good way to shield up some of those non-unique units so that you can just keep them around a little longer. We got the Blade Wing. This is, of course, the experimental B-Wing from, of course, the Rebel show. This is the first time we actually see a B-Wing. When played, you may turn a non-leader unit to its owner's hands. So basically, it's Waylay, but Waylay on a 6-cost body that's a 3/3. So, I mean, I'm glad to have a Waylay that just can bounce anything, any non-leader unit back to our opponent's hand. It's not fun when it's a 6-cost unit for a 3/3, but I don't know. I mean, we still have Beguile, and Beguile can look at our opponent's hand and bounce back anything that's a 6 cost or less, where this can bounce anything, so that's just the thing. So Beguile will be the new version of Waylay. I just don't know if a lot of people are going to put in a 6/3/3, the Blade Wing, just so that you can bounce anything back to your opponent's hand. I mean, it is nice. It is a space unit, which is pretty nice for the JTL leaders, but again, I don't know. It isn't great, but still, it could probably see some play, some fringe play. We have backed by the Huts, create a credit token. You may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of number of friendly credit tokens. So it already is 3, so you could easily put that in Lando, because of Lando's ability to make credit tokens, where you could spam credit tokens from Lando, and then back by the Huts and then kill something with enough credit tokens. So basically, again, we're kind of seeing the gimmick of credit tokens in this set, where you're going to create credit tokens from units, and then you're going to be able to burn credit tokens to play guys cheaper, but stuff like that. So still, it's a pretty neat card. It's just mono yellow as well, so it's really great. So a lot of any deck that is using a yellow engine, whether it be from their thanks to their leader or thanks to the base, can just use this. We have another new leader, and Lord Vader. This is our 4th Lord Vader we're going to get in the set. This is also the Vader art, I believe, from Rogue One. So this is when he's in the hallway. So if you don't know the scene, so he's traveled on his personal shuttle over to the Profundity. The rebel soldiers are getting the Death Star plans, and they're running on to get onto the Tantan 4 so they can immediately get off, use the blockade runner to get out of the area with the Death Star plans and return it to the rebels. So as a reminder, the door gets closed, and remember, then you see the dark hallway scene where, they all feel something, they all prep in the hallway, and then you hear his breathing and his lightsaber comes on, then you hear that epic score come on as he mercilessly kills all these rebels. So yeah, that's what the scene is, and I'm going to be very honest. I might just be a shill and shill out the money for this showcase anyways. I might just straight up buy the showcase straight out right immediately. I really do like Rogue One as a story. I think I might 100% shill some money for this showcase, because I'll have to see what they're going to do for the showcase art first before I shill the money out. But if they have a really good one where he's just straight up in the hallway, I think I will be buying this showcase for myself. Now, enough about gushing over Rogue One's ending scene. We're here to talk about the very bad effect of this Vader. Action: discard a card from your hand, deal 1 damage to a unit or base. He does flip for 7, so he is basically, once again, the most expensive Vader we'll have in Premiere. Again, as a reminder, the Vader from Spark also flips for 7. And then on attack, discard any number of cards in your hand, deal damage to a unit or basically the number of cards discarded this way. He's a 6/8. So he's 1 attack point stronger than the Spark Vader. And again, he is 1 more expensive than the Hoth Vader, which I think a lot more people are probably going to play the Hoth Vader over this Vader, because the Hoth Vader can pay 1 to deal 1 damage to your opponent's base. I believe it's either pay 1 or just tap him and you just deal damage to your opponent's base. This Vader is all about discarding. Now, we'll have to see more cards at how his engine really works in red, how people are going to discard. We have a few cards revealed to us that discard. But is he good? I don't know. In a game where hand control, keeping a hand is so important, sometimes it really does suck that the fact that we're here discarding our cards out of our hand to then paying you for damage. Now, again, like I said, if we see more cards in this set that are about bringing stuff out of our discard pile and playing them onto the battlefield, then yeah, I am perfectly fine saying this Vader can be very, very powerful with discarding all those cards from your hand and then utilizing them. But again, for Premiere, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. It just doesn't feel good because you'd have in like with like Twilight Republic, you would have like reprocessing where you could take 3 cards and slip it back to the bottom of your deck and then create battle droids with it. But we don't have that so far. There's nothing that really like recycles cards from our discard pile back into our deck. There's nothing like that unless we see cards out of Lawless Time that does it. I still, like I said, I like what the art is. I like the motif of that this is the Vader scene from Rogue One, and it's cool. Like I said, I probably shill out anyways the money for Rogue One, this showcase, because I do really like, as long as the art looks good in the showcase. If the art on the showcase doesn't look good, I won't show money. But if it does look good and it really is a cool showcase art, then yeah, I'll definitely buy it. Well, if we're talking about Vaders to possibly play in the post-rotation format, go with the TIE Swarm Vader from JTL, or go with the Hoth Vader from Intro Battle of Hoth. I think those are the 2 better Vaders to play overall. I don't know if this Vader is going to see much play. Still, I think he's got a neat effect for what he can do. The problem is he's 7 costed, so he's more expensive than the 2 other Vaders. And he just doesn't have a good effect to the other 2. TIE Swarm Vader can swarm your space with TIE Fighters, which can overwhelm your opponent. They don't have a way to deal with with your space front, especially because we still have Clone Combat Squadron in the game, the 444 Clone Bomber that can get a +1 for every other space unit on the battlefield. So being able to then put Vader on that and then powering it up to infinity beyond and punching your opponent in with a massive bomber that is that is extremely hard to get rid of unless your opponent has like a way to just murk it completely off the board. Again, turning it into a leader unit means it does remove those cards that stayed on it non-leader units, because it does turn the combat squadron into a non-leader, turns it into a leader unit. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's really the better one, and I think if you're trying to look for a Vader that's a little better than the TIE one, you might go the Battle of the Hoth one. But nonetheless, it's neat. I like it. I like the art because I think that's a really cool scene from Rogue One, but is it a good leader? We'll have to wait and see when we fully get everything out to see whether or not this Vader even truly works at all. I mean, it's good in, funny enough, it's actually really good in Eternal, because you'll get Migs Mayfield in Eternal. That's whenever you pitch a card, discard a card, then you can deal 2 damage to one of your opponent's guys. Again, we lose Migs Mayfield in rotation, so you only get this Vader for Eternal, that Migs Mayfield combo with this Vader in Eternal. Anyways, moving on, we have Shadow Cloaking, ready a unit and give it a shield token to it. A nice, like, 5 costed unit that you can just ready any unit. Like, you could ready Vader again, you could ready anybody again, anything like that. So it's a pretty nice way to just give a shield token to something, and all of that. So pretty cool. It's also really good to kind of maybe ready back up the Vader from, potentially the Vader from LOF, so you can swing it again and hit something else off the board, which is pretty nice. So something to think about. Well, folks, we had Super Laser Blast out of Spark Rebellion that states 8 cost, nuke the entirety of the board state, and murder all. Here we go for single reactor ignition. Of course, this is when Tarkin fires the Death Star single reactor at Scarif to destroy the base and basically wipe it clean. Defeat all units, including your own. For each enemy unit defeat this way, deal 1 damage to the controller base. So it's a little better than what Super Laser Blast is. It's the exact same cost. You have to be in aggression to utilize this effect here. Not that it really matters. Callus can easily play this for 9. For 9, because you could ignore the aggression aspect unless you put Callus naturally in aggression. But still, I mean, it's literally a nuke and then deal 1 damage to your opponent for each guy you nuked off their battlefield, which is really cool. It's a little better than what Super Laser Blast does. Just know that now this is pretty lethal in Eternal, because in Eternal, any villainy deck can play Super Laser Blast, and any blue villainy deck with red can now play single reactor ignition and then play them together in a control strategy. I can see a lot of blue-red control running around in Eternal because you have both of those cards to basically liquefy boards. So just be cautious on that one. And then we joked that I thought, they're probably not going to give this a prestige art at all in this set, because again, it's not really a person. It's an event card getting that. But I could definitely see this getting like a Galactic Championship or a regional or some of like that type of art. Or we joked we could see like the art of Tarkin standing in front of the viewport, staring down at Scarif, and then call it single reactor fire with him turning over the soldier, telling him to fire and single reactor fire. Again, he tells the soldier that Lord Vader will take care of the rebel fleet. Target the base on Scarif, single reactor fire. So I could see that as the as like an alt art. I think that would be a really cool alt art, just a nod off to the fans for Rogue One. But nonetheless, it's a pretty neat card. I'm glad we're getting a new board wiping style card. I know a lot of people are going to hate it, but still, it's an 8 cost, but it's an 8 cost with a nice effect attached to it. I mean, nuke the entire board and then ping your opponent for a whole bunch of damage. It does really turn into this weird state. Does your opponent want to go wide close to the 8 resource turn, or are they going to play closer to the hand so they don't immediately just get liquefied and then take a whole bunch of damage because of it? So it's a pretty neat thing to think about. That's a rock. The best card in the world, folks. You can play it for deal 1 damage. When this event is discarded from your hand or deck, you may deal 1 damage to a unit. Hey, look, we got Lando's ability to deal 1 damage to a unit and Vader's ability to do 1 damage to a unit. Congratulations, you can now throw 3 rocks in your deck. Oh, okay. That's all we're going to talk about that one. That's all we're going to talk about for that. Then we have Chiofane. On attack, you may choose 2 players. If you do, they each draw a card. So you may choose 2 players. So the truth be told, you can choose yourself and then choose no one else, and you draw a card. By the way, you'll notice that, interesting enough, there are some cards in here that are written very specifically for Twin Suns in mind. And it's very interesting how they're mixing those cards into here, where they're very open to like doing stuff for Twin Suns. Because again, Twin Suns is their commander spin-off title, where you run 2 leaders that share the exact same heroic or villainy aspect, 1 base, and then you get in a pod of like 4 to 5 people, and then you just kind of play around like a commander style game. So yeah, I like that we're seeing a lot of cards be written up to where you can use them in Premiere, but they feel better for being used in Twin Suns, i.e. we saw down here with the Vermilion, where it feels more like something you would play in Twin Suns more than you might play in Premiere. Again, you could play this guy in Premiere because you would just choose yourself and not choose your opponent. It's just like the Yoda from Spark, where Yoda dies. You can choose, each player can draw 1 for the Yoda effect. Typically, you always chose yourself. So, just a neat 2/2/4, which is still not bad. A good draw 1 for on play. We got a Rose Tico. Again, we have the Finn and the Rose over in I think it was The Last Jedi. Yeah, the last Jedi, where they went to the casino planet. Well, waste of time, in my opinion, in that movie. That was just filler. 5/5/5. If you control a non-unique unit, this unit's play ready. A pretty cool card. So if you have most of your board state is non-unique guys, or you sacrifice your non-unique guys and you just need to go for like a 5 damage win, you can sacrifice them all into your opponent's stuff, and then play Rose. Rose comes out readied, and it has a 5/5. Again, it does have the resistance tag as well, so does Finn. Just a little cautionary as a reminder that oh my gosh, the leader for the resistance is still in the format, by the way. Oh my gosh, what's her name? Holdo. Admiral Holdo is still in the game, so you could play these for resistance. Just be mindful that Holdo is a green leader, so you'd already have to be paying a penalty for that. But just be an idea for your thoughts if you ever wanted to play some resistance tag. Holdo is still in the game. Then we have Secret Battle of Pretend. Exhaust a friendly unit. If you do, for each aspect it has, exhaust an enemy unit in the exact same arena. Pretty cool. So because we're seeing all these multicolored aspected guys, this is just a good way to be able to target one of your guys, rest them, and then if he has 2 aspects on him, or even 3 aspects on him, you can arrest that many of your enemy's units. Kind of a pretty cool card there. Just a great way to stall out the games, or force your opponent to make different plays and stuff like that. A good card to like take the initiative, burn it, rest a guy like a Sentinel or something like that, and then maybe rest 2, because the max you'll get is 2 because of your 2 aspects of at least your color aspect and your heroic or villainy aspect. If you have one guy that's triple aspect, that's even better. But still, a nice little card to help stall out those games, which yellow is really good at stalling out games, forcing different retinues of play and stuff like that. We have Bix Callan. When play on tech, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, credit token. Okay, just a little something to discard to create credits. Again, I really want to see if they're going to do something with the discard pile, and it's going to do something over there, because it feels like we have so many cards that are like discard, do something. Why can't we just see cards that say, hey, now we're going to have cards that allow you to play a bunch of stuff from your discard pile? That'd be pretty cool. We have not yet seen that, so we'll have to wait and see. I still hope there's something with this, because otherwise all these discard effects just don't feel really good from your hand. Because again, in this game where you want hand control, it's never great to discard a bunch of your things that you may or may not need and never able to get back. So that still, I mean, again, credit tokens, that's the whole gimmick of this set. Again, being able to create credit tokens and then being able to burn them to get out big guys a lot faster is really nice. We have a Jin Urso leader. So this is our second Jin Urso leader, by the way. We've only ever had two of them. The first one, I believe, is from Spark, and she's in Cunning. So this is our second Jin Urso leader. She is a rare. Action, pay 1 tapper. If a friendly rebel unit was defeated this phase, you search the top 3 cards of your deck for a card and draw it. If you flip over 5, on attack, if a friendly rebel unit was defeated this phase, search the top 3 cards of your deck and draw it. Just by the way, you can get both of these effects off in the exact same turn. So if you have a rebel unit, it goes and dies. Doesn't matter how it was defeated. So we do have the Rebel 3 aggression heroic card, the commandos that can on attack, if they dealt damage to your opponent's base, murk themselves to immediately be able to deal 3 more damage to your opponent's base. They are rebels, so this would then trigger Jin. You can use both of these Jin's effects. This is also another one I think I'll have to see what the art showcase art is, because this is a really cool scene. It's time to fight. That's another one. I don't know if I'll show out the money for it, but still, I'm a big fan of Rogue One, so I'm glad we're getting some 2 leaders from it. Again, I need to see their showcase art to see how what they're going to design the showcases to be. Because I think if they could expand it out to where she's in the room with everyone behind her, like you got Bodhi Rock there already. I would like to see like Cassian next to her. I think that would be really, really cool. But nonetheless, she's now our new rebel leader. Again, we had the Leia from Spark that was all about rebels. Now, this is our new rebel tribal leader. And again, because you have that effect, as I was saying, with the commandos, when they kill themselves, then you flip Jin over. Technically, as long as defeated for the phase, that is the entire phase you're in, until both of you and your opponent have potentially passed. One of you claimed, one of you fully passed, and you draw on your 2 cards and are starting to get your resources. Again, that means that you can swing on attack and search top 3 cards of your deck for any card, not even specifically to like a rebel or anything like that. It can be any card and add it to your hand, which is pretty nice. I mean, this is just a great way to just like siphon your deck and find what you need to find. Pretty cool leader. We'll have to see what else we get. We're going to get a lot of rebels here, because we're going to see a lot of rebels from the rebel from Row 1 in this. So we're going to see some interesting rebels and stuff like that. But nonetheless, I think it's a pretty cool leader. I think it's going to be a really fun one to play around with as our new Rebel Tribal. I think it's going to be, get a little better in Eternal, because then you get a lot more Rebels from set 1, 2, and 3 for that stuff. But nonetheless, you still have good Rebels from set 4, 5, and 6 as well, and the Rebels we're getting from this set as well. So, pretty cool card indeed. We got a new rare base. Says it's action, discard 3 cards from your deck, you may return a card. Discard this way to the top of your deck, so you can just mill the top 3 and then return 1 to the top. I'm not sold on that one either. Again, unless we start seeing cards that can do stuff out of our discard pile, I don't see a reason that these cards are going to be good. Maybe we just haven't got that drip fed goodness just yet, but it just doesn't feel right. It feels like that's where we're going to do something with it, but they just haven't revealed it yet. They're teasing us. We got a Jin Urso unit. For 2, again, a very interesting coloration here. When played, give an experience token to a unit or exhaust a unit. So basically, you have the green effect of experience, or you can have the yellow effect of exhaust. A pretty nice, interesting card right there. We got Bodhi Rock. He's back, everyone, as another unit. On attack, you may give a friendly rebel unit Sentinel for the phase, which is really good, because again, Jin just cares as long as the rebel died. That's all she cares about. So being able to, on attack, give rebel Sentinel, so forcing your opponent to have to swing at them and then kill them for Jin's effect to go off, was pretty nice. A good way just to stabilize and keep alive. Synthicaz, while this unit is upgrade, she gains Sentinel, so pretty nice. So if you can just upgrade her with anything, she's already a 3/3/5. Upgrade her with a really good upgrade, and then she can just become a whole lot harder to kill off, and then she has Sentinel as well, which is pretty nice. We have Rogue One. When a friendly unit is defeated, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put any number on the top or bottom of your deck, and the rest on top of deck in any order. So basically, it's instead of Inferno Force effect on play when defeated, look at the top 2 cards, and then you can basically put both on the top or bottom in any order you want. This is when a rebel unit is defeated, you do that. So again, pushing what Jin Urso kind of wants to do. Rebel units are defeated, do X. So pretty cool. I mean, it's a great way to, like, if you can't like get the Jin effect off, at least you could like say, well, I look at the top 2 cards, I put them on the bottom of my deck, top, bottom, and then I can draw some new cards. Kind of just help you fully cycle out your deck. Kind of decide what you want to do based on what your hand is right now. So pretty cool. And then we have the Tree Remembers. An enemy unit loses all abilities for a phase. It costs 3 or less to defeat. Just another kill card. I totally forgot. I think in the last video I said what kill cards we have at blue. I forgot we had like Charge with Murder. Then we also had Retaliation. I did forget those kill cards. Yeah, we have Light Speed Disaster, but again, Light Speed Disaster is only really good if your opponent is playing into the JTL meta where the ships are going to be very viable, which I think they will be. So that blue card is probably going to see a lot of side deck play, if not main deck play. But still, I did say I think we didn't have too much kill cards. Still, those kill cards aren't great. Charge with Murder is, I believe, double blue. And blue, but you have to disclose double blue and then kill a non-leader unit that is wounded. So, not great. And Retaliation can kill anything, but your opponent has to punch your base in the face to get it to go off. But still, I mean, a nice once you just lose all abilities for the phase, so it could just lose everything for the phase, become a vanilla, and if it's 3 less, you could just straight kill it. That's all right. We have Syndicate, a Spice Runner. When play, search top 3 cards of your deck for an Underworld, reveal it, and draw it. That's really about it. A nice 2/2/2 that can search for those Underworld cards, especially from this set, or if you wanted to now do Cad Green for some strange reason in Eternal. We have Scarif Lieutenant for 1/1. When defeated, give an experience token to a friendly rebel unit. A pretty cool card there. I mean, it's basically Vanguard Infantry, the mono green Vanguard Infantry, but for rebel units. So it's also going to be really good for the Leia from Eternal as well, from Leia Spark from Eternal. They have the Masami Group Marines, a 3/4/4, which is going to be really good for a lot of, whether or not, if you're even just in green heroic, this is going to be a really good 3-drop to drop onto the board. A Rebel Trooper, which is good also for Jin, but still a really nice one. This is just going to be a great way to drop this and have a 4/4 body on your turn 3 play, on your resource 3 play, which is going to be really good. So, a very nice card. We have the Hintana, the Haitana. I think this is Jabba's personal sail barge. I believe that is. I don't know how to actually say it, but nonetheless, it's Jabba's personal sail barge for 3/2/4. That's when played on attack. The next Underworld unit you play this phase costs 1 less. This is a nice way to reduce the cost of Underworld guys. That's pretty good. Pretty fun unit there to play with. Just being able to reduce those Underworld units so that you can play them out much faster. We have Common Cause. Give a unit +1/+1 for this phase for each different aspect among units you control. Again, really good. So if you're playing in a deck that's running a lot of multi-aspected cards, then you could play this to get a whole bunch of buffs to a single unit. Kind of something you might want to consider for Agent Callus, because Agent Callus is going to be this strange multicolor aspect deck because of the fact that he can ignore aspect penalties, but still, pretty cool card there. We have the Haymaker. Punch them droids, Clone Soldier. Getting experience token to a friendly unit. That unit deals damage equal to the power of an enemy unit to an enemy unit in the same arena as well. This is also another one. This can target leader cards. So you could target your leader with this, give it an experience token, and then use your leader to kill another leader. Or you could do anything like that. Because it isn't green, this is just mono, so you can lose in a lot of green strategies, which is really fun. Really cool card. I really like this. This will be very interesting to see who plays this. But this is just a good way just to go power one guy up and kill off one guy on your opponent's side of the board, which is pretty nice. Overall. Also, because this is also in just mono green, be cautious that I believe this might be played a little bit in Piet, since Piet's already green. Just so he can power up some of the capital class vessels with the extra experience token, and then use it to murk a guy in the space arena. But since it's the same arena, I don't know. I think a lot more ground-based strategies might be using it, but I could see Piet might use it just because then you could murk something from space if that comes true or anything like that. But I can see a lot of leaders that are on the ground using this. We got the double cross again. As a reminder, this is a scene from the Star Wars: The Clone Wars, where Obi-Wan becomes the bounty hunter that was hired to actually kill him. Doesn't kill him so that he can figure out the plot to kidnap the Chancellor. So again, he then double crosses Cad Bane with realizing that that's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Choose a friendly non-leader unit and an enemy non-leader unit. Exchange control of those units. The player who takes control of the lower cost unit creates credit tokens equal to the difference between those units. So basically, there is a card, I believe, in set 2 called like Switch Sides, where then it does the exact same thing. I believe it is, I think it's the exact same cost as Double Cross, where basically it does the exact same thing, where you swap units. So basically, and then it does have a counteract effect, so that if you are stealing the bigger unit and you're giving your opponent a little unit, just know that your opponent then just makes a whole bunch of credit tokens off of it. But if you're the one trading a big unit for a little unit, then you get all the credit tokens. So it's a very interesting kind of trade-off. Do you take a big unit knowing you can use it, but giving your opponent credit tokens, which you know they can use, so then reduce the cost to make something else? So it's just some interesting mind game you'll have to play with yourself. Is it really worth playing this, knowing that if you give your opponent a little unit, and they have the lower cost unit, they then get to make credit tokens off of that. So, still a very neat card, a fun little card that you could do with, even if you do give your opponent credit tokens. You could swap a very like 2 different one, and you'd only give your opponent 2 credit tokens, but just understand that that's a 6 cost. Your opponent's probably going to be on a 6 cost as well. So just because of the fact that you may accidentally give them more credit tokens, so even 2 means they can play an 8 cost out for the turn. So just be a little bit on the caution side of using that effect, but still a pretty neat thing. You could trade them technically. They haven't swung, you swing, they play something, go double cross, give them your exhausted guy, take their unexhausted guy, and then you can swing again as their base. Yeah, you create credit tokens, but again, it's going to really depend on how exactly you play it and when exactly you want to play it, because I think that's really when it's going to matter. But still, pretty cool card. I kind of like it that we're getting these very interesting move stuff around. I'm going to take, you're going to take, we're going to keep each other's cards, but now there's a trade-off of doing that, of creating credit tokens. So, and interesting. We got a 2/2/2 shielded Black Sun Patroller. It's a really good card here, folks. Be on the lookout to see this being played in a lot of Vader JTL yellow decks, 100%. We have a Weiwei Pirate with 2/2/3, does have Underworld as well. Saboteur, when played, if no resources were paid to play the unit, give experience token to it. So basically, if you burn 2 credit tokens to play him out for free, you can give an experience token to him. Just something pretty nice. Kind of a motif to try to force you to play those credit tokens so that you can play him out for free and then give him something experience, making him a 3/4 on a 2-drop. We have the Axe Forgets, returning non-leader unit that costs 3 or less to its owner's hand. Yeah, I mean, we're going to get these Waylay type effects, but we're not going to see anything really like Waylay from Spark. They really have become really tough to find. I mean, Bookwell, I believe, is a 3 cost. I think 3. Yeah, I think Bookwell is either 3 or 6. I can't remember what it is. But, I mean, it returning back, it can only return back 6 cost or less. Okay, no, I pulled up my binder where Bookwell is. Bookwell is a 3 cost that returns 6 costs or less and does look at your opponent's hand. So, I mean, we're not going to really get anything like Waylay. Yeah, we have the Blade Wing down here, but again, a 6 cost 3/3 isn't exactly what I'm going to call great to spin something back. But still, I mean, we have Bookwell that returns 6 cost or less guys back to your hand. Now we're going to have the Axe Forgets to return 3 costs or less to our opponent's hand. So, yeah, we're getting some more yellow spin back, but it's not Waylay. It's not what Waylay was good at. But nonetheless, moving on, we have Black. Pretty okay card. It's just going to matter because that cost right there, that's what's going to really matter. I don't think it's going to see a lot of play because it's so restrictive on what you can return back. And then we have Black Sun Kabbalist. When played, giving experience open to another friendly Underworld unit. Really nice. Again, just something that maybe even consider for Cad Bane and Eternal, because then this can come out, this can trigger Cad's effect because you played an Underworld guy and you give the experience to an Underworld unit. This could be something you could play on Cad Bane's flip turn, so flip Cad Bane and then play an Underworld unit, and then Cad Bane triggers the effect and give the experience to Cad Bane. So pretty neat card there. from a certain point of view, play a card from your hand, ignores aspect penalties. Again, we're kind of expecting to see some more cards here that ignore aspect penalties, especially with a set that's beaming with colors all over the place. Like cards have multicolors. So, yeah, I'm expecting to see a lot of some more like cards that were expected to mitigate aspect penalties. And again, being in monoliths, meaning that every deck can play it. So, a neat little card here, just if you need to, for some reason, ignore aspect penalties on a card to play. As a reminder, when you play this, you do have to pay the cost of the card you're going to play. It doesn't come out, that card you're playing doesn't come out for free. We have the expendable mercenary. When defeated, you may resources unit in its owner's discard pile. So there we go. So we have our new mono green, super laser tech. It doesn't seem to come in ready. It just seems to, you may resource this unit, so it's probably just going to come in rested. But still, I mean, a 4/3/3 body that could punch over something on the board state isn't too bad. It sucks it has to be on your 4-drop turn, where super laser tech was on your 3-drop turn, and resupply was your 3-drop turn. This means that you're one slower resourcing, but it does mean that on your 4-drop turn, you can bring him out, and then your resource on your 5th resource, and then you can go kill this guy, make him your 6th, yes, rested, but that does mean all your leaders that are 6 costs do get to flip over now, one turn early. So it does have that ability. Again, green is always going to be the ramp color. That's what it really is good for. That's almost what everybody has green as. Magic the Gathering, even Gundam, Fusion World. Like, green is just the ramp color. That's just all it does. It ramps. But still, pretty cool. Pretty neat card. Again, we needed to see some more cards like this because we're losing so much like good cards that have ramp potential in the game. But still, I mean, a 3/3 body that could swing and kill something off your opponent's board state, it's pretty good for the benefit that you then, when defeated, you just resource it. So, pretty neat. We have another capital class vessel. Congratulations, Piet Red is going to rejoice. It has more power, especially because now it has the Fulmintrix and the Persecutor. This is, I believe, from the Y-Wings. It looks to be the Star Destroyer, one of the 2 Star Destroyers over Scarif. Yeah, fire over Scarif. There you go. So this is one of the 2 Star Destroyers that are over Scarif. And then when played on attack, choose an arena. You may deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena. So basically, you have the Fulmintrix that is on attack, deal 4 damage to a ground unit. On play, on attack, deal 4 damage to a ground unit. And now we have the Persecutor, which is now on attack. When played on attack, choose an arena and deal 3 damage to a unit, which is really good. I mean, you can literally just, it's a bombing run, by the way. Bombing run from Spark Rebellion does the exact same thing. Choose arena, deal 3 damage to each unit in that arena. So the Persecutor is just a way for Piet to now deal with the ground presence, because typically Piet doesn't have much of a ground presence. Now he will, because I think Droid Red Piet is still going to be very viable. Yeah, you're going to lose some of the droids. I think the only real droid is the Separatist Bomber from Twilight of the Republic. I think that's the only droid you're playing outside of everything, but every other droid you're playing in the game, like HK-47, Imperial Dark Trooper, Gawk, all those droids are in the Premier format. So the Persecutor is going to be able to do some interesting things. So this could be a nasty ship to also drop. If you can keep the Gonk droid out for the turn. So if you have the Gonk droid and then flip Piet, you can then be able to reduce your cost by 3. So you could get this out on your turn 6 play and immediately deal 3 damage to your opponent's ground units or space units, which could be pretty interesting. Still, a pretty cool card. Again, most capital class vessels are just going to be Piet's playground. That's the only leader that's really going to be able to bring them out and play with them. So, another legendary, we've seen now 3 Star Destroyers. They're all Piets. They're all Piet Star Destroyers, so let's just say that. You might get lucky with some leaders being able to get into the late game with some of them, but these Star Destroyers are definitely costed for Piet. We'll have to see what happens once Piet rotates when we hit set 10. Because again, Piet will only be legal for sets, the next 3 coming sets, that being Lawless Time, Ashes of the Empire, and Homeworlds, and after that he rotates out. So it'd be very interesting once we get to set 10, what exactly their plan is to do with Piet. I guess they could still create Star Destroyers for the Eternal format, so that Piet still has more stuff to play with. But it's going to be very interesting how then they make them costed for Premiere since PF won't be around. So, Fear and Dead Men. Apparently, someone said this is from the comics. This is a quote, a broken down quote from the Star Wars canon comics. So, it's pretty cool to see that they're now taking even stuff canon-wise from the comics. I think that could be a really cool thing if they took a bunch of stuff from the comics and made a like a micro set that had a bunch of comic book art. Or they did a major set with all comic book stuff. You could then do Legends comic book stuff as well, which you then could get the Yuzhong Bong into the game, even though I don't think they're ever going to bring them into the game. Just because we're trying to keep it family friendly, and the Yuzhong Bong are not family friendly. But anyways, yeah, so it's really cool. So that could then give us a Carbonite where they then give us a bunch of that could give you a bunch of then prestige art cards in comic book styles, which I think would then force people to buy into Carbonites. If you don't know, I know I'm going on a tangent, but I just want to say this. They redistributed the Carbonites. Carbonites are now worse. And I'm even going to drop opening Carbonites right now for this set. I might pick up maybe packs. Maybe in the future, I might buy a Carbonite box. But so in Carbonites, the reason I was buying it was to get the prestiges and showcase leaders. So you had a higher chance of getting showcase leaders, which I think was great. It helped keep the market on showcase leaders down. It helped make them more affordable, especially showcase leaders that are more wanted. But now they're saying that now even if you buy a case, you only have a 50-50 chance of opening a prestige or a showcase, which is horrible. So not a lot of people are going to buy showcases. Carbonites anymore, because originally we were buying them to get showcase arts, and now that we have three different levels of prestige stamped cards, which is even crazier. So I don't know. I can tell you right now, I did not pre-order any Carbonite boxes for this set. I did pre-order a case of this set, so I am busting a case of this set. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll have to see how I feel about Carbonites moving forward. But right now, like, originally I was just getting them to get showcase leaders and prestigious cards. But for the price point for now, what they're distributing the packs to be doesn't feel good. Also, by the way, we are finally losing just normal holos. Our holos will now be only hyperspace holos. So we're only keeping hyperspace holos. So our three arts will be normal, hyperspace, and hyperspace foil, which I'm glad. They're getting rid of that normal, like, black bordered foil cards. I didn't like those anyways. The second I got anyways, before that, I got once I got a hyperspace foil, I always swapped it out for the normal black bordered foil. Also, as well, if you don't know, as well, now prestige cards feel even worse to getting them in Carbonites, because now I think you can open them. Now they're slotting them into normal packs as well. So for every so many packs, you can actually pull a normal prestige art non-foiled version of it. So yeah, so now there's not even a reason to get a Carbonite to even get just the prestiges. Now they come in the normal packs, which now pushes their value down even more. But that rant out of the way, just that Carbonites, in my opinion, I think they damaged their goods that they were doing for collectors. There's not a reason to buy those right now. I'm not going to push you away from buying them or anything. That's on you. That's your money. But me personally, a couple of my friends at my locals were not going to buy Carbonites. And it was sad. I liked Carbonites. But anyways, Fear and Dead Men, like I said, it seems to be a pseudo quote from the comic books. This card costs one less for each card discarded of your hand this phase. Again, you can easily see who it's supposed to buff up. Oh, right here. Then you do 4 damage to each enemy ground unit. Congratulations, you can nearly wipe most of the ground forces off the. So if you discard up to 6 cards, this card can cost 1. And you can hit everybody for 4 damage for 1 cost. Again, that's kind of steep because you have to pitch a lot of cards out of your hand to do it. Then we have Galen Urso, 305. When played, you may have an opponent take control of this unit. Enemy units gain raid 1 and Saboteur while you have him. Which means if your opponent wants to get rid of him so they can stop giving you raid 1 and Saboteur, they have to throw it at one of your units as one of their attacks. So it could be kind of funny where you could even do more. You could do probably some very interesting things of trying to protect Galen Urso so that he doesn't die or anything like that. But still, pretty neat. I like this card. I think it's going to be kind of fun, and especially in Twin Sons, of like playing it down and then saying, who wants a Galen Urso? Who do I hate the most to give a Galen Urso to? So my opponent has to then figure out, then has to sacrifice it onto someone else's bodies so they can make sure not to give the entire table Raid 1 and Saboteur. Even in normal Premiere, it's a pretty fun card because, I mean, you get Raid 1 and Saboteur, meaning you could dodge all Sentinels and all shields as well. Is pretty cool. Still, a pretty fun card. A fun one I think I can see. We got another leader and the one, the only Director Critic. I think this is second leader as well. I think the only other Director Critic we've had is from Spark Rebellion, the one that's on his front side. It states when a damaged unit gets a +1 attack, and then he flips over, he has Restore, and again, he does the exact same thing. Enemy units with a damage marker on it get an additional attack. So anyways, on action, defeat a friendly unit, create a credit token. Epic action, you choose 7 more units, deploy its leader. When deployed, another friendly unit deals damage equal to the number of power to an enemy unit. He's a 4/9. His when deployed skill kind of sucks. I mean, yeah, it's real nice because if you flip him and he got a big ship or a big guy, you can blow something up. He does create credit tokens, which does mean that you could then view the Expendable Mercenary with him, swing the Expendable Mercenary into your opponent's base for 3 damage, and then use Critic's effect to kill it to create a credit token, and then immediately put it into your resources. But his backside flip, oh my gosh, could they made him a little better? I mean, I get to go one guy on my board state deals damage equal to its power to an enemy unit. I don't know. I mean, it's another friendly unit as well, so you better hope you have a good unit, I guess, up to them when you flip this. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're making enough credit tokens in the game and you can drop big guys on the battlefield, and yeah, that makes complete sense because then you could flip, target something, and then kill something off the board. But as of right now, I mean, I don't like it. I like his front side because it's kind of reminiscent of like what the Emperor does. But the Emperor, at least when he flipped, had a good effect. Shock Director Critic, I don't know. I'm not sold on this effect at all. I'm not sold on it. I like the front side because, I mean, it's really great to use the Mercenary, to then being able to use Critic to get a token. I guess you're really going to have to play something big to where it makes sense for you then to flip Critic. I mean, it's real nice because he can target leaders and he can just murk leaders off the board. He's a 4/9 for Pete's sake. So, I mean, that's really cool. Hey, at least he has some ability to maybe use the Critic from Secrets of Power a little better than what I've ever seen. So maybe he could use that Critic so that you could mill the cards and then hopefully get some stuff. But still, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I like him. I like what he can do in the front. But that's really about it. I just don't like his backside. I mean, you better hope that you had a big ship there for something big, powerful to flip so you can murk guy. It's murk one guy. I kind of would have rather maybe he did something like where he flips, target a guy, and then then target the ground or space arena and deal damage equal to that unit to everything, kind of like what Turbo Laser Salvo does, the legendary from JTL. The 7 cost where you target a space unit, and then you target either the space or the ground arena, and that unit deals damage equal to the number to all units on that battlefield. I think that would have been a pretty cool one. Or flip and deal 3 damage to everything on the ground or space. I think I would have liked that effect kind of better. A one-time flip of target, kill, and potentially a better hope I have something that's useful to use on that flip turn. So, I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does. It will be interesting to see what he really does. I don't know. I like what I get. It's a Rogue One. It's cool, and I might shill the money out if it's got a good art on it because I do like Rogue One. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to be very good. He's a 7 cost. You definitely need to ramp to get him to go, and I don't know. I'm not sold. Anyways, moving on, we have the Vault Skiri's Defender. When played, if you discard a card from your hand or deck this phase, give a shield token to this unit. On attack, you may deal 1 damage to a space unit and exhaust it. Oh, look at that, everyone. It's Jango Fett on a ship. Jango Fett on a ship that only exhausts space units, but still a pretty cool one. So it's really pushing us kind of maybe like Vader Yellow. Because again, whenever you discard a card from your hand or deck this phase, you give a shield token to this unit. This thing could probably get a whole bunch of shield tokens and be stupid. This could get a whole bunch of shield tokens on because wind plate if you start. Okay, so it's only a one-time use wind plate skill to give it a shield token to it, which still not bad. A 3/3/3 that comes in shielded. And on attack may deal 1 damage to a space unit and exhausted. Still, that's really good. That's a kind of a nice counter if you see into like if you're playing like the ground red Vader and you're running into Vader TIE Swarm, you could then like hit certain vehicles to rest them so that your opponent can't hit you. So remember, Vader can only make TIE tokens if you hit with a non-token unit. So you could even deal damage to one of your opponent's TIE units and then exhaust it. So non-token units exhausted so they can't continue to play tokens, which is pretty neat. But still, okay shit. We have Ulrich. It's a Rebel Tusken bounty hunter. Hidden with 4/4 hidden, and it has rate 4 as well. Whoopee! So Manchin Ro can buff this up, by the way. This deals 6 damage, by the way, on the swing for a 2/4, which is pretty cool. And then, by the way, if you can get Manchin Ro, if you can get this out with Manchin Ro on the battlefield, especially because it has hidden, so your opponent can't immediately attack it, and it's just red-yellow, so it doesn't have a heroic tag attached to it, or a villainy tag attached to it. So you could play this in a Manchin Ro strategy, because Manchin Ro states from LOF, all your raids are doubled, so meaning that this can go up to raid 8 if Manchin Ro is on the board. This could get out of hand very quick, because that means this is a 10/4 swinging Ulrich. So nonetheless, pretty cool card. Just consider that for Manchin Ro 100%. Just know that if your opponent has anything above 4 points of attack, this can kill it before it swings back with Manchin Ro. But still, pretty cool card. You hold this, choose a friendly non-leader unit, and opponent takes control of it. If they do, deal 4 damage to another unit in that same arena. Basically, you're sacrificing one of your own units to deal 4 damage to something in your opponent's arena, which, okay, yeah, that's not always what you want to do. You don't exactly want to give your opponent a unit that then they keep, and then basically just to mark 4 damage on one guy, but still, a pretty neat card. Not gonna really lie. Pretty neat card there. So, all right, I'll take it. I think it's a pretty neat one, because you could give them a little weenie unit that's only like maybe a couple damage points, or someone that's heavily damaged, and then deal 4 damage to something in your opponent's arena just maybe to kill it off, or deal enough damage so we kill it off, and then you can go and kill off both your units. So that's a kill off the other opponent unit and then kill off your unit, which is pretty cool. We have Admiral Monty and Imperial and Official. All friendly leaders get +2/+2, so really nice. Just a great way to buff up the leaders. It does have the official tag as well, so if you wanted to put him into more of an official strategy, because we do have all the officials from Sacreds of Power in the villainy tag, especially like with Major Potarags and all of them. That's pretty neat. That is something you could do for Krennic. I'm just realizing it. You could do something dumb with Major Potarags with Krennic. So you could do like Krennic officials. So you could get Major Potarags into being a big buffed unit. Because remember, he gets a +2 for every single official that swings. He gets a +2. So then you could flip Krennic, and then use Krennic to target Major Potarags, and then have his big power buff, and then destroy someone on your opponent's board state. So, something to think about there. I kind of just now realized with the officials pack that you could do something with Major Potarags. Maybe with Krennic. Still, I do like the +2/+2. Just helps keep your leader just a little more alive. Then we have the Intimidator, the second, of course, Star Destroyer that is over Scarif. When played, return any number of friendly resources on hand. For each resource returned this way, create a credit token. An 11/11/11. So, yeah, I mean, you could do something with Director Krennic with 11/11/11. But I think it's once again, more or less costed to be something for Piet to run. I mean, it is pretty neat. You can easily just put a couple of your capital class vessels into your resources, be able to bring this out late into the game. Because again, even Piet has access to the Expendable Mercenary, so you could easily be able to go Expendable Mercenary to do that. We do have this other one here as well, by the way, that Piet is able to use. And then you'll be able to return a bunch of your capital class vessels that you resource back to your hand, and then basically go for create credit tokens in, and by the way, because then we can use those credit tokens to reduce the cost of something. Then heck, or you could easily just make it so that you return so many rested resources back to your hand, get those back, keep your unrested, create credit tokens, and then you could burn the credit tokens alongside your remaining resources, and then be able to say put out something else. So just something to think about. I don't know if this ship's ever really going to see a lot of play. It's definitely only seeing play in Piet, but still, I think it's neat, cool what it could do. I don't think it's great, but it's a cool ship. Cool ship that can do cool ship things. I don't think it's really going to be all that good. Piet's the only leader that's going to play it, but still, it could be an interesting Star Destroyer to play. An interesting one for sure. I think if we're talking Star Destroyers for the Scarif, the Persecutor is just a better one overall. Some people might play this as like a random one-of, just so they can mass a bunch of credit tokens and then spill something out easy off of that. I don't know. Anyways, and after that, we have Stockpile, Resources, Event, and the top card of your deck. Hey, another ramp card, folks. It sucks it's on a 6-drop to ramp 2, so ramp this and ramp that. So meaning you're going up to 8 resources, but still, I don't know. I don't think anything is going to beat Resupply at all. Some people probably might put this in as a random 2-of just so they can push for just so they can push for ramp to get to 8 cost, but still, I don't know. I guess it matters if credit tokens could reduce the cost of non-unit cards, and all that, because if they can reduce the cost of non-unit cards, I think then you could burn some credit tokens to make this cheaper and then be able to ramp 2, which would be really nice. Let me see. I don't know if they have, if they put credits here. They did not put the token itself, because I was hoping maybe we could see the token itself, like, because I wanted to reread what a credit. There it is, Lawless Time token. We're not going to see it, but there's our experience in our shield. We are getting another experience in shield, by the way. I like the experience token. That's actually a pretty cool one. Let's see. Organized play. A card, Jabba's Rancor. I don't know if that's the OP card. Suppose it is. I don't know. Trying to see if we get the credit token. Oh, we do have some prestige arts here. By the way, here's like what Luke and what like C3PO. I don't know what the organized play. Of course, we don't have credits. I believe I can figure out credits. Hold 1 second. All right, here we go. I had to go to Star Wars Unlimited's main site to find credit tokens. Credit token. While playing resources, you may defeat this token. If you do, pay 1 less. Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. It's not pay 1 less on units. It's pay 1 less overall. So you could burn credit tokens to allow you to go for stockpile cheaper. So basically, if you have 3 credit tokens, you can burn 3 credit tokens to make this a 3 cost, and then play this for 3 costs and resource 2, putting you up to 5. Which, okay, that makes a lot more sense. I think this will be a little better played, I think, if you have the credit tokens. Now, one thing I did want to see, okay, now, if you notice on the JTL, LOF, and SEC, that we had A's, we now got B's. This just tells us this is the second set rotation. We won't rotate out the A's until set 10. But I just wanted to point out that we now have B's at the bottom of our cards. But that's about it. There's some neat stuff we got revealed here. We got some more leaders. I think these leaders here are okay. I think the Gen's pretty cool. The Vader, I need to see what stuff we get that can really utilize his effect nicely. And Krennic, I don't know. I really don't know about Krennic. And other than that, we got some new legendaries. I think the Persecutor, get ready for Piet Red to be very, very running meta relevant around in this format. The Intimidator is okay. I think the other legendary we got was, of course, I think single reactor ignition is going to be running around in that strategy, so be ready for it. Other than that, yeah, we got some more nice cards in this set. We got our second rare base set. No, I don't know who that's going to play that. But still, we got some cool things going on. Another card to really make that's going to really make Vader JTL a little more potent. We got a couple of new ways to ramp. We got a really cool little TIE Defender. I like this for Mon Shinro. a new official to go with the official strategy. Fear and Dead Man is really cool. I like that we have, like, from a certain point of view to just be able to reduce costs. Double Cross, Haymaker, pretty cool. We got some new rebels to go kind of with Jin and all that, and we got some new cards. Nonetheless, guys, I want your thoughts. Oh, and we got probably the next best full blast murder card for the format. Get ready to see a lot of control strategy run around with that. But nonetheless, guys, you need to let me know down in the comments your thoughts on all of these reveals we've gotten now for A Lawless Time. What are your thoughts overall on our Lando, Vader, Jin, and Krennic leaders? What are your thoughts overall on our new legendaries of Single Reactor Ignition, the Persecutor, and the Intimidator? What are your thoughts overall on some of our really good new cards like Fear and Dead Men and stuff like that? Like, let me know all your thoughts on what else you're hoping to see. Like, are you guys hoping to see legacy support cards in here to finish out KOTOR 2, 3, finishing out the KOTOR series? What else are you hoping that we would get in this set? What leaders are you really, really hoping to see? Again, this is all around heists, like big heists going on. So, I mean, we have the big heist of Rogue One. We have the Ghost Crew, which makes complete sense for that. We've seen a lot of the Ghost Crew. We've seen Rogue One. I don't know who else we're really going to see, maybe leader-wise for like that strategy or anything like that. So we'll have to kind of see if we get some more leaders or whatever other heists they're going into as well. I guess we have leaders for like the heist of saving Han Solo with already our two Spotlight deck leaders of Leia and Jabba. So I'm just wondering, what other leaders are we going to get? We haven't seen the pod racers yet. We know there's pod racers coming in this set. We know it. We know there's a whole bunch of speeders in this set. They have not revealed a single pod racer yet for us. I suppose we're going to get a pod racer leader for stuff, and we're probably going to get some kind of new game mechanic for the pod racers as well. So we have yet to see that. We have seen, so Boba art has been leaked. What looks to be him in a pod racer. So we know we're getting pod racers. We know it also because in their little Star Wars Unlimited, if you go to their website and read their big spiel about hints for this set, we know this set has the most speeders, and they say, I wonder why. Yeah, it's because you have pod racers. Because, you know, it's a lawless time. Pod racing, gambling on Tatooine. As a reminder, Tatooine is in the Outer Rim, which would usually that the Empire and the Republic didn't really care about, so it became a lawless area, so it was mostly controlled by Hutts. So, yeah. Nonetheless, the cards we're getting so far, it looks really cool. We got some interesting things. It's going to be a very interesting set to play around with. We're already kind of getting scoops of who's really going to be good. Like, we're already kind of seeing Kiet Red is already going to be a very viable meta strategy. I think we're going to see some more stuff. Like I said, I think Boba is still very good. Boba JTL. I think the JTL leaders are going to be very meta relevant, and we're seeing some cards to be kind of funny. We're seeing some cards also that are really good for like Twin Suns and stuff. But nonetheless, I want your thoughts on all of that down in the comments. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you know if I were my videos go live for you. I will see you next time on Mom Dragons TCG.